Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Interest as a country, and we're saying that this is the best time, we have the best opportunity to follow up with that interest. And our interest is Ofori Atta. Okay. And so if you look at today's Herald newspaper, because the Herald newspaper has a very interesting angle to this story. Now, the Herald is reporting that it says troubled Akufo seeks Mahama's audience for Ofori Atta's return, and it is it's on page 3 of the paper. And we're told the Herald has gathered that former President Nana Akufo is deeply distressed by the growing controversy surrounding his cousin, former Finance Minister Ofori Atta, over matters arising from his nearly 8-year tenure at the Finance Ministry. The ex-president is demanding a special passage when the man, once regarded as a financial wizard, arrives at Kotoka International Airport to confront his many skeletons. According to sources, the former president wants Mr. Ofori Atta, who has been in the U.S. since February this year, on claims of a medical condition related to his kidney, to immediately return to Ghana to perform or to personally address the allegations, particularly those being pursued by the Office of the Special Prosecutor. Insiders say Mr. Akufo believes that the ongoing allegations are tarnishing the family name and undermining the legacy of his administration, and insists that his cousin should return home to face the law and prove his innocence. Family sources further reveals that the former president has been shocked and even embarrassed by reports alleging procurement breaches, abuse of public office, and violations of procurement and criminal laws potentially involving substantial sums of public funds and irregular state contracts. Despite the controversy, the former president is seeking a safe passage for Mr. Ofori Atta upon his return to Ghana from the United States with no state action to publicly humiliate him by arresting and detaining him upon arrival at Kotoka International Airport. Interestingly, the Herald understands that Mr. Ofori Atta remains in frequent contact with family and close associates and continues to oversee his private business interests, including enterprise insurance, transitioning funeral homes, and data bank financial services, among others. Sources close to the matter indicate that former President Akufo is considering approaching President John Dramani Mahama to seek assurances of the safe passage for Mr. Ofori Atta. However, Jubilee House insiders tell the Herald that although President Mahama has not yet been approached, he firmly believes that the law must be allowed to take its full course and is therefore unwilling to enter into any arrangement with the former president regarding his cousin. The president is opposed to granting the safe passage sought. Additionally, some officials within the Mahama administration also hold the position that Mr. Ofori Atta must first account for and, where necessary, refund any state funds allegedly acquired during his tenure before any discussions can be entertained. So that's one aspect of this matter. But let's talk about this briefly, and then we can relate that to the Abu Trika matter. But this is what the Herald is reporting. I'll start with you. Kaja, what do you make of this report by today's Herald? And whether you think that it would actually be a good move if the former president intends to have a tete-a-tete with John Mahama, so that Ofori Atta is given the best of, treatment when and if he decides to come to Ghana.
Good morning to you again.
All right.
Professor. We have always sat like this, and by the close of the day,
you fight.
She gets quite uncomfortable with the truth. She normally would get quite uncomfortable with the truth, but it's fine. That is the essence of conversations of this kind.
Right.
And then, yes, of course, when you say it's as it should be said, sometimes, especially when the tables turn. One interesting thing I've also learned about, or I've experienced about comms in opposition and comms in power, is that when you are communicating in opposition, you see things much different from when you are communicating in power.
Yeah.
But what makes it most beautiful is the fact that the same persons we sat here with to talk about issues, and very interestingly, very similar issues, things that we spoke about on Galamsey, arguments we held on election results, arguments we held on fraud, internet fraud and all, are revisiting. And now it is not us doing the defense, but the probing. So it makes it very nice and then quite easy for referencing, because you can equally just say, Prof, but do you remember you said ABC and what has changed?
Okay.
And it's so nice when you meet same sisters, same faces, to probe and to repeat all that they actually said. But that is not to preempt that she would deny or she would shift the goalpost. That's not that.
Okay.
I'm not just being naughty. I'm telling you what normally happens from the commencement of my media engagement actively after our defeat.
Right.
Moro, for me, it's an issue of putting Ghana first. Now, what is the situation? Ken Ofori Atta is not in the country. We are told he is unwell. We have seen the correspondence between the SP, we communicators speaking on his behalf, and his lawyers, of course, communicating to the country. I do appreciate and admit that a lot of Ghanaians want us to get to the end of this case. And I personally want us to actually approach it, get it done. If we are going to court, let's get to court. Let's get what the legal processes will be. Let's listen to the highest body in terms of judgment, and let's see who will be proven wrong or right, or who will be held guilty. Now, nobody, including all of us here, would be very happy to see a Ghanaian looting the state's money. After all, that is why we have the directive state principle policy,
Right.
to check all that the government is doing on economic, education, social, gender, all the aspects or all the organs of the government. All these bodies are not established and backed by the Constitution for nothing. It's for what? For the essence of getting the public coffers protected. Organs like Chiraj, and even we ourselves as individuals having to self-check ourselves to see when we have been given the mandate of leadership, what we are supposed to do. Now, this report, I don't want to say it's a speculation, but it is an issue that is being reported. And with that report, if I want to go by what we are reading today, I would say yes. If, and my point is if, the end of that conversation, or maybe negotiation, or agreement would be in the benefit of Ghana, then it will be good for us to go that way. Because what will be the point? Getting a statesman like him, getting an ex-minister of this country being prejudiced, being called names, or getting the public opinion or public court saying all manner of things when in actual sense, no trial, no investigation, no interrogation. So for me, if it is the ultimate or the most applicable and result-oriented way of going by this situation, we all will be very happy to have that. President Akufo Addo is one person that I know would be bold enough and would be interested to say, look, let's look at it this way. After all, he is not saying he's going to talk to President Mahama to just allow Ken Ofori Atta to go without being investigated. I don't think that's what he is pushing for. He only wants some level of approach, some kind of approach. And I'm pretty sure, I'm not in his head as I speak, but I want to believe it's for issues like what we saw in the case of Hanan, what we saw in the case of Honorable Mustafa Hamid, what we saw or we are still seeing in the case of many appointees of our government. We are not saying don't do the legal processes, don't take them to court, but be mindful be mindful of inciting the public wrongly against individuals. And for me, commenting on this, I would say if it will be the ultimate for Ghana to be the winner, then we must go that way.
Do you think that there's any basis for anybody to be apprehensive about the possibility of Ofori Atta being ill-treated if he decides to touch down for to basically to face the music?
But
Because quite clearly from what the story is telling us, it appears that the former president has some concerns, some concerns. I don't want to use he fears.
It's not fears.
But he has some concerns about what could possibly happen to Ken if Ken comes to face accountability. I mean, do you think that there's any basis for the former president to harbor those concerns?
Well, I'm just saying probably he's taking the cue from how other cases have been handled in this country.
Right.
Because we saw every citizen, guilty or not guilty, or until proven guilty, has some level of right in terms of arrest. That is where we have lawful and unlawful arrests. And when you go into the details, our criminal law or the Act 29, I've forgotten which specific section would that be, but would tell you, or in an attempt to paraphrase, would tell you even the person or a criminal has the right to be informed why the police or the investigative body is picking you. They don't have to malhandle you because they perceive you to be such. And all other human dignifying approach or respect should be given to you. So maybe, just maybe he is just prompting that or telling us that, look, this is a man who is not well. This is a man whom we have seen in this country as somebody who started so well until this noise. This is a man who has children and relatives. So yes, when Abuga Pele, when Juliet, what's her name? Was it Selassie Ibrahim or Juliet? The bus branding issue.
Oh, that's Selassie Ibrahim.
Selassie Ibrahim.
Yes.
When all these names, Tamaklu, when all these names came up, I don't think any of these persons was or were humiliated. So he's just saying yes, given what we are seeing, given how the AG would even handle the whole case. Coming on media. We are not saying don't comment on the issue, but don't as well prejudice. Don't incite the public. This is basically what we are saying. And I strongly believe that is just what President Nana Addo Dankwa. Somebody may be tempted to say he is afraid, he is what? Are you monsters? Are you to govern or you are to harass? If you are even thinking he's afraid, then what becomes your plan then? What is it that you are harboring that he will be scared of? What is it that you are planning that he would have gotten hint of? Moru. So if the NDC comes to tell us he's probably scared, or he's afraid, really? Is that the way to govern? Is that what you have planned? So for me, yes, it is good to give heads up. That look, the gentleman will come back. But when he comes back, it's good for us to go through the legal process to the end. If he is guilty, if he is to pay some damages, we all will see the judgment, and the end shall justify the means. I don't know if you want me to tie that to Tricker's issue, or I should
I'll
just...
roll that in.
All right.
I wanted us to look at the
just struggling to get the Constitution.
The Herald story first, and then would relate that to the Abutrika matter. But before you bring in Prof, let me just take this breather. It's very brief. That's why it's a breather. So you're watching Good Morning Ghana on Metro Television.
Speak to the issue. I think it's a non-starter. A non-starter for a former president to meet a sitting president to have a discussion over a high case profile like Ken Ofori Atta's case. Ghana, we always say that it's not or would not be a safe haven for any criminal or cyber criminal. And so we expect that other countries should also not be a safe haven for anybody that is being sought to come and account for his or her stewardship. And for that matter, with the case of Ofori Atta, his stewardship to the people. I was just really wondering what His Excellency, the former president, wants to discuss with and John Dramani Mahama. As I indicated, it is a non-starter because this is a man who is not, I will not say he's guilty, but we are not seeking for his accountability just as a government, but also as a nation.
Okay.
This was a man who really hurt a lot of people, talking about the domestic exchange program.
Right.
Today, there are people at the other side, as the MPP, arguing that he's sick, he's gone to seek medical care, and so should be allowed to treat himself before that. I've just really wondered, when Ofori Atta was collapsing banks, when Ofori Atta dipped his hand in the pocket of people who are on pension, people who worked hard, saved some money, made investment to pay for their medical bills, people who were sick and were relying on these monies that they invested in government bond to cure their ailments or to buy medication, whether he really cared about these people when he decided to take these people's money in this whole saga of domestic exchange program. Did he bothered? He never bothered. Why should we Ghanaians today be worried that Ofori Atta is not well, and for that matter, he should not be allowed to come and account for his stewardship to us? Remember, this was the same man who said that, look, he's not going to take any payment for his work. At a point when we said, look, his own people, the NPP MP said, look, enough is enough. We want Ken, and Ken must go. He did not want to go. Why didn't he want to go? At a point when his own people felt that, look, you are hurting us, you are hurting the government at that time, you are hurting Ghanaians, we want you to go. He said no, he would not go. And the president did not even see it necessary at that time to advise his cousin that, look, I would have loved you to end the term with me, but looking at the things and the indicators, we feel that you should step aside. He didn't see the need. He supported him and allowed him to go to the 8-year tenure. Now today, we want Ofori Atta to come and enter his stewardship, and he wants to go and see his President Dramani Mahama to discuss what? To discuss leniency? To discuss his health? What about the people in cells? I mean, we're just talking at the background when Rabi made a statement like we should go and put the cells in Addo for him to come. I mean, that is not the point. The point is that...
Don't quote me wrongly. It was in context.
The point is that...
Prof, it was in context.
There's something she wants to quickly correct.
Can I...
No, it's very...
Just a second.
It's very...
Let's see if what she's about to say...
So why can't... So wait, let me finish and then she can come and reply.
Otherwise, by the time you land,
you would have distorted my information.
So what is it that you want to correct?
Yes, so I am correcting a blatant lie.
Okay.
She is distorting what I said.
Okay.
I don't want to say she is just saying untruth, but sincerely.
Okay.
It is. I just have to be measured, but she's actually distorted the whole conversation. So we were talking off camera. Then she said, if he's ill, what is the problem? Can't the cells accommodate him? And if he had worked on the same space, then I said, look, wait. It's not even about working on it. Currently, I have visited people in the BNI, though I haven't gone in the cells, but they came out to tell me that, look, inside there is not accommodative enough. I don't know how bad, because I haven't been there.
Right.
I have listened to people speak about our police cells.
Okay.
Iyoko cells and all that. So I was just passing it in a conversation that, look, even for us to be able to avoid all this, how do we call it? What word do I use? To avoid the hesitance of wanting to get into that, then it's good to even keep them in shape always.
Okay.
And that is not for one individual. She even asked me, are some human beings better than others? I said, no, far from that.
Right.
What I am telling you is that for the betterment of all of us,
okay,
I don't see it to be any big deal for the police or BNI or IECO to call me to listen to me on an issue. But if it is not accommodative, it's just an issue that we need to fix as a country. And that is just in a person. So if she wants to twist anything, she shouldn't twist when I'm by her. Because I'll correct her.
I hope it was the same thing she said earlier.
What Rabi said isn't different from what I said.
You said it differently. You said
you were in power for 8 years, and you just lost power 12 months ago. And you are saying that the BNI cells or our prisons are not conducive, and so there's a need for us to look at this situation or to look at the condition and then put them in a better shape. And I am saying that whilst, yes, I acknowledge that our cells are not good enough, there are people in cells. You were in power. You could have done things better if you knew, or if you are now seeing that.
But you are here to reset, so we can reset it if we couldn't do it.
Why didn't you do it in 8 years? And you are now saying that their cells are not good enough, and so we need to, create the space more conducive because people have gone there and have come out and said it is not good, and so we need to do something. All I am saying is that there are people in cells today. Today, if you go to Sawam, yes, we acknowledge that the cells are not conducive enough, but there are people there. And you cannot say that a minister, and for that matter, a finance minister, somebody who held the purse of the public, is today running away because we feel that our BNI cells are not conducive enough. And so the former president will want to see the sitting president to discuss modalities, to discuss how Ken should be handled, well, if he comes or what. Is that what we are saying? We are talking about people who have gone through pain. In fact, there are people who died because they could not afford BP medication. They could not afford diabetic medication because what they saved to take care of their health was taken away from them. People died because of suffering. People died because they could not bear the pain of coming to sit home after, working in banks, and their banks were collapsed. Because some of them, when you look at the circumstance at which these banks were collapsed, you could see that it was solely politically motivated. And this was a man who was in charge of our affair. Today we are saying what? Ken should be handled softly. Ken should be allowed to treat himself. Even if it will take 4 years, 8 years, 10 years, he should be allowed to treat himself. I know His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. He's a listening president. He's a man who will fight corruption, and anyone, even if it is his own relative, he will not shield the person. And I know His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is a man of integrity. He's a man who will fight for the voiceless, the people who have no representative, the people who, I don't know the word to use, but to just say that the ordinary Ghanaian, he will fight for these individuals. And so he would not shield anyone, even his own appointee. And as I say, even a member of his family, if he commit crime, he will let the person face the full rigors of the law. And so the former president trying to meet His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, it will wash. Whatever he says there, he sends there would not, because Ghanaians are watching and watching very well. A lot of people were hurt by Ken's action and inaction. There are people who have suffered. And so if you are saying justice, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama would not condone selective justice. There are people who today are in court for various crimes or accusations, and the same way Ken would also have to come and account for his stewardship. For me, I don't think it's a big deal. They gave us a timeline that was somewhere March this year that he was coming, and since then it's been one story upon another. I think if Ken himself knew he did not commit any crime, he should come and account for the people. There are former finance ministers who are in Ghana. A number of them, I can name them. And so I don't see the reason why he should be running away from accountability. If he did, he claimed that he did not commit any crime. There are a number of things that we can point out. How the more he borrowed, the more his data bank made more money. Some of the things, including the SML contract, that people think that was just a deliberate attempt, to loot public funds. I think this was a very good opportunity for him to clear his name, because you see, this issue is not just about him, but it may linger on and may even affect his children's children. And so I think that for me, if I were him, it would be a very great opportunity, to come and clear your name than trying to hide and trying to delay the case or prolong the case with the hope that, NDC will go out of power and then they come and water things down the drain. I think Ghanaians would not forgive NDC if Ken is left off the hook. And so going to see Mahama is a non-starter, and I know His Excellency John Dramani Mahama is a man of integrity, and he will not come through, because everybody have seen how this man have treated us with so much pain.
Now speaking about Ken himself actually been turning up in Ghana for the entire process, you know that there's been some mixed reactions. There have been there are two schools of thought. In fact, I've heard the likes of Kofi Mental, who's the vice president of Imani, actually arguing forcefully that, in his view, Ken should not even come to Ghana. He thinks that the OSP, as the OSP has done recently, the OSP should go ahead and prosecute the matter in court, and then Ken Ofori Atta can deal with the outcome of the judgment, of the ruling, of the decision, of the court. Because I'm told that even in law, there's a difference between a ruling and a judgment. I'm told there's a difference, and that the lower courts, you say ruling, right? Supreme Court say judgments. The lawyers are here.
I'm still a student lawyer.
A friend of mine, lawyer, was telling me that there's a difference, except that we use it interchangeably. But in view or given that argument which is being forcefully canvassed by the likes of Kofi Mental, would you, Haji Rabiu, say that, look, and he one of his arguments is that, one, the matter can be tried in absentia.
Yeah, that's the
His second reason is that he says he's looked at how the entire processes have gone so far, have panned out so far. He's not convinced that Ken Ofori Atta will be treated, will be accorded all the rights that he deserves as a citizen of this country. Do you understand what I'm saying? So those are the two key reasons two key reasons that he gives for why Ken should not even come to Ghana at all. Let me use this opportunity to pick your thoughts on that. Whether you're of the view that, look, if Ken honestly truly believes that he is innocent, he should come and face the music. Or you think that based on what Kofi Mental has said, you're in full force with what Kofi Mental has said, which is stay in America, don't come to Ghana again and allow the case to be tried in absentia. Where do you stand on this?
Moro.
I'm not PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.